Great. A few of you can hear me, which is good. Right, let's get into it. You're probably expecting Josh's voice. It's not Josh today, it's Gareth. Josh is on annual leave, so just taking this one for Josh today. And to not mess with his schedule of what he's been covering off, I'm going to do mine just slightly different. And we're just going to talk about a bunch of things. We won't go into in depth like Josh has been doing with some of them. So one of the first things I kind of wanted to talk about is obviously MyCI. I know a lot of us are very familiar with MyCI. You probably haven't seen it before, or you've probably never been to it for a while. So if you've never gone to it, you've got to go to myci.centralinnovation.com. In there, there's a create password button. Do that to create a password. Now, for that to work, we need to have your contact details in our CRM for it to work. So if you don't think your details are there, reach out to us and the support team, and they can help you with that. Otherwise, your account manager can get those added in. So once you've got access into it, I'm going to show you what our ArchiCAD Select customers get access to. So this is the welcome back page. So when you get in here, this is the front page. And from here, we've got a bunch of stuff. So you can see the latest thing, which is 25, a couple of videos there, any up and coming trainings. And for some people, they can also schedule meetings with their account manager or with the technical team. If you were trying to get ArchiCAD for the first time, there's a getting started button. This is where you can get ArchiCAD 25, activate your licenses, and discover the new features. And when we have the CI tools ready for ArchiCAD 25, you'll see a CI tools option here as well. When we do have those tools ready, you'll get notified on those as well. We've also got some working home remotely bits and pieces. So if you're still having to work remotely, we've got those as well. But the main piece here is the select benefits. So in here, there's a couple of things you could grab. So if you're a select customer, you can come in and grab our ArchiCAD Select library. We've got it for 25. We've also got it for 24 somewhere. Here it is here, updated in February. We've also got it for 23. All the way back down through the years as well, always back down to V16 as well. In here, as select customers get additional surface catalogs as well, so extra surfaces. I'll show you what those look like. So it's always good to grab that. And maybe read the user guide as well for that select library if you haven't seen one of those before. The objects, so there's a bunch of objects, and a lot of these objects are in our library, but we add them here first before we update them into the quarterly updates of that select library. Tips, some of the recent more tips, template upgrade. So anyone who is looking to do an upgrade for 24 to 25, there's a workflow guide there, stuff around the native survey point as well. We also had a object voting piece as well, where our select customers could come in and select two objects that could be voted for next month. That's closing very, very soon. Just to give you a bit of heads up, the winning ones currently is the internal gutter. So we'll see where that lands. Videos. So some of our past webinars are up here. So if you've missed one of these sessions that Josh has run, we can come back here and watch that a little bit later on if you need to. The downloads. So this is where we've got all past downloads as well. So the latest ones, previous ones for 24, all the way back down again to ArchiCAD 15. All for our select customers. So if you're an ArchiCAD Select with Australia and New Zealand, you'll get access to these. New pages that we're just slowly introducing and just getting in here. So an open BIM page, so stuff around collaboration, if you're doing any collaboration stuff. Some FAQs as well. So this is coming from the support team. Any frequently asked questions from in the support team, jump there. That might be able to help you out as well. And even manuals. We're starting to build up some manuals on particular tools. So, for example, 3D navigation, there's a PDF guide here of some basic steps of navigating with your mouse. Event calendar. So this is where a lot of you probably found this webinar. We've got a bunch of other webinars running through July. A lot of these are just reruns of the past upgrade trainings. Just we've got a lot of people who go, oh, how did I do property manager? So we've broken out that piece from ArchiCAD 20, chucked it in there for a webinar for people to register and watch as well. So yeah, sign into any of those if you needed to. And remember our select customers currently, if you want to order a box, you could go in and order a box for ArchiCAD 25. This is the box itself. If you need the download pieces, you're there. This is for those who collect the ArchiCAD boxes more than anything else, if you're one of those collectors. We've got some installation guides here as well. So yeah, 24 should be a 25 one there. I'm not sure why. May have to chase up the team on why it's not there already. But in here, got the guides of how to install and activate your Twinmotions and stuff like that. The other one to keep remembering about is if you've got the CI tools installed and you've installed all the tools, including the work environment and the add-ons, when you start ArchiCAD, you'll get access to the tip of the day. So if you want to read the tip of the day, which changes, when you start ArchiCAD, this is what you'll see. Now, if you've already got those installed and you want to turn that on, you can do that with inside ArchiCAD. You can go to the CI tools, and in here, you want to look for My CI Tools. And we've got the tip of the day and check for updates. But if you click Preferences, this is where you can turn on the check for updates and also display tip of the day at launch. If you've got it unticked, it won't display it. If you've got it ticked, it will display as well. Look, so let's have a look at some of those little objects I just talked about. So the select library, a bit of a mind blank there. So select library here, I'm in ArchiCAD 24 today. Just been playing around and showing somebody with 24, so I'll leave 24 here. Otherwise, I would have done it in 25. But 24, I've got the select library, and for some of those who aren't familiar with it, covers all sorts. So things like appliances, like bathroom, towel rails, perhaps, commercial bathrooms, even some stuff for the laundry. We've got some documentation, so calculations for room light and ventilation for Australia. There's some here for New Zealand around H1, G4, 7, E2 as well. Table's on a bit of a wobble. Let's set that back to 0. And if I was to place that table, basically this one here, all this table's doing, I'll pull it to the side, just allows us to set some scores for what our cavities should be for our New Zealanders that are very familiar with that. Markers as well, extra markers, some symbols for Australia, some more symbols if you need them, electrical pieces. There is some people in here. People are just sort of cutouts, not 3D people. Some of the Graphisoft ones are probably slightly better, so maybe use those. Sporting facilities. So this is where our voting, our object of the month voting comes in from. So when you start adding these, telling us about them, we add them in. So one of those a few years ago was the lintel. So something around the 3604 for lintels over doors and windows for New Zealanders. So we added that in. I think there was another one more recently. I can't quite remember where it was. Where is it? One, or maybe it's not. Document transmittal. Here it is. But this isn't the one I was looking for. The one I was looking for is a walking line little piece. So you'll be able to set a line from where the door is, set it to the other door, and it should tell you how long that path is as well. Assuming it's in here, or it might just be 25 one. I'll have to double check. Hopefully it's for 24. We'll have to check with Andrew once he's comes back online, and Josh as well. So those are the objects. Now I mentioned the surface catalog. So the extra surfaces, remember here in the ArchiCAD resources, the additional surfaces. So again, these are for our select customers. And what that does is it allows you to get extra surfaces. So if you go into your options, your element attributes and surfaces, here are all the surfaces I've got loaded in my project. so for me to access right away. But if I wanted an extra surface, I can always go new and go new from catalog. And within ArchiCAD, it's already got a bunch of surfaces. So metals, for example, some glasses, insulations, what else? Pavements. But once I get that additional surface catalog, which I've got here for ArchiCAD 24, this gives me a few more. So I've got paving, so some extra pavings, extra concretes, some different carpets, like that one, which I might grab. And once I've found the one I want, I just click on it, click OK, and now I've got that added in as an extra surface, so I can use that in my project if I needed to as well. So if you're short on some of those surfaces where you're just looking through here, your library, and you're just looking at that surface catalog, and you're looking for maybe, I don't know, flooring, and you don't have a lot of carpet choices, that's what you could do. This is quite interesting, some 3D carpet short. Wonder what that does. It will be very similar to how the grass feature works for the ones who know how that works. I won't cover that off today, but it will be, look at this button when you go to do your rendering, and this button as well when you do your rendering as well. So you want to look at some of the options and grass as well. So have a bit of a play with that. I won't cover that off in today's session. So those are surfaces, some of the objects as well. Some of the questions we get around the tools, and this is mainly for people who have never used the tools before. They first get ArchiCAD and it will look something like this. So here I am with the standard New Zealand template, or the layout, sorry. And in here we can see all of our tools, but then they go, oh, where's my cabinets? Where's my stairs? Where's my detail elements? Where's my doors? Well, my doors and windows work via this function. They're there, but where's the rest? And that is just because their work environment hasn't been applied to use the CI tool profile. Now, the CI tool profile is just going to change the toolbox and a couple of other little settings through the top. It's not going to interfere with too much else. Once you've done that, that's where you can see your electrical tool, you can see your cabinet tool, the objectives, the extrusions, polystair, railings, and even some of the slab edges as well, and detail elements. For those who have never used detail elements or not sure what it is, I can kind of quickly show you that here in a section where if I was to select that detail element, a bunch of 2D things. So we've got symbols, break lines, there's trims as well, walls. So if I wanted a stud wall, I can grab that and I can go and put it on my wall, and I just need to rotate that into place. Maybe even do a bit of a mirror because it's not sitting right, so I can rotate that. And these are just 2D elements. They're not associated to anything, so if that wall was to move, I would have to come back to my section and move those as well. The pink spots, they're dynamic hotspots, so I can move those around and get them into certain places, maybe more like there, perhaps. So those could be very useful. You can do the same with ceilings. So maybe I've got one for ceiling. So here's the ceiling button one. Go through the settings. Some of these settings might be useful, or parameters maybe not, but I've got configurations in here as well. A nice little trick is look at your geometry methods. So here, this one just places it based on the settings I've set in my angles here. So if that was 45, would have placed it at 45. But if I was to look at this one, the rotated diagonal, I can click set that angle, and then stretch out to put it where I wanted it to be, which could be useful, save you a bit of time if you had any of those angled elements that you needed to do that weren't just 90 and 0 or 45 as well. So hopefully you've learned something there. Yeah, that works with other objects as well. Just FYI, I'll just show that on maybe a chair. Let's find a chair. No, yeah, well, I'll do it to a chair because I'm not sure what it will do to a coffee machine. Let's try that. So basically, yep, sure. I should actually be in plan when I do that one. Click, set the rotation, then I get to set the length of that chair, and that chair, I've just turned it into, when you want to find an Easter egg and you didn't want to find it, okay, don't do that to a chair, it seems. Let's do it to this one. There we go. So if I was to place that chair again, so if I was to click, rotate, I can then stretch out that chair. Obviously, that Easter egg we just found, just so you guys are aware, if you wanted to play around with that, is I had armchair 1. I had gone to this function, clicked, set that to whatever angle, and stretched that right out, and that gave me potato. Anyway, don't want to find that, but there you go. Found an Easter egg in a webinar, yay. Yeah, so those are detail elements which could be useful, especially when you're starting to do the detailing of an element. So let's say here is my Eve, and you could break that detail out using, the method of putting a detail marker down, pulling out the area, and now you get your detail, which is all in lines. Now, which is cool. Some people redraw that off to the side using lines, fills, whatever else they needed to. But a lot of these elements could be done with the detail element. So instead of having a line to just say a nail, you could have a detail element maybe you've got a detail element that is a nail. Or in the case of a roof, maybe it's a screw. So it could be a screw if needed to be, and those can be dragged around and moved about. So when you get to a gutter, so that is a detail element here. So we've got a gutter profile, what that profile might look like. There's others in here. So the trusses, if you're not one that models the trusses, you could use the detail elements to show what those trusses look like in your sections if you're not into having a full 3D model of your truss. Same goes with insulation. Instead of trying to get the perfect installation, which I'm struggling to click on, where are you? There we are. There's my insulation. So again, I could drag that out, even bend it if I needed to as well. So that was insulation. Nogs and framings and the likes. So again, got a little timber member here. I can choose what it looks like. I-beam perhaps. Looks like there's an error there with that one. Laminated, some existing framing, maybe even continuous, or it's just blocking. So maybe that's some blocking. Nope, not that shortcut key, this one. So whatever you need to do. The other one here, that looks just a fill. That's all that is. That one there, that looks like that's a detail element. And the detail element there is just a lining. So that same lining could be used for the jib in the inside of our house as well, even some of the fascia as well. So if you're starting to create all of these as lines, maybe looking at a detail element, that could save you a bit of time if you wanted to save time. Just check to see if there's any questions. No, cool. What else have we got? So yeah, look, the other tools in here as well. Some of them are available to selected groups. In Australia, with their selects, they get electrical. That's part of their select agreement. So you know, if you're in Australia and you're using the electrical tool, or not using the electrical tool, maybe have a bit of a play with that. If you're not sure how a tool works, we do have a help menu. And that same help menu can be accessed from my CI. So there's CI tool manuals. And what that is I'll open it this way. So if I do it that way for us, it opens our support system. It actually opens up our knowledge base. And from in here, we've got all of the stuff that you can use. Well, you've got access to, and you can read all the instructions. So for example, the electrical tool, you know, some tutorials we're still working on, you won't see that. You're just seeing what we see at our end. But we've got things like the wiring styles, how they work. If I was to look at another tool, maybe like Keynotes, this goes into a lot of depth of reference guides, so importing sample database notes, Keynote label types as well. We've also got ones of how to configure your Keynote, working with categories. So if you've got a category, how you move those through. We've also got some support page here. So any big known issues, you can go in and have a bit of a look at those, and some that have been updated throughout the time. We've also got some little tricks that we've kind of announced, put into here, things like batch rendering and ArchiCAD, if you wanted to have a bit of a play. I may have to see why that picture's disappeared. Not a lot of people are using that if they're not telling me that it's like that. We've got others in there, finding like your licenses if you needed that for support reasons. There's installs, the select library. So if you're wanting to find out some more about the select library, some people have asked things like, how do I use the paving tool? So we created a page for that on how to use that paving object as well. So if there's other select tools, objects, that you're not sure how to use, let us know. Maybe we write a little guide on how to use it, like the ceiling grid one here as well, which could be useful for those people who want it. Otherwise, yeah, there's other ones in here like cabinets for our New Zealand customers who get access to sites and bracing. There's some bracing stuff in here. So for example, bracing, how you would use the bracing tool, and if you have any trouble with it as well. So yeah, so I'll just quickly come back to the questions to see if there's any questions. Didn't want to take too much of people's time. Wanted to keep it short, sweet, to the odd 20 minutes. I'm at 26. Let's see here. No. Someone's asked about 25. Yeah, look, the tools aren't available for 25 yet. We are working on those tools. They will be available soon. Do I hear that? Nope, there doesn't seem to be anything else. No other questions in there. Yes, yeah, I can hear you. Cool. Those are from the guys who sent something before. Yeah, unless there's no other questions that come through within the next 2 seconds, let's leave it there, guys, and I'll let you get on with the day. I am recording this, so we'll record it, put it up onto my CI in the coming days, weeks, when we get the chance. But other than that, thank you very much, guys. We'll catch you later, and see you next time. Thank you.